My name is Gloria Solorzano, and I'm a proud member of NAREP, an active member of the Global Business Council in Minneapolis, a licensed realtor in Minneapolis and Costa Rica, and I do business in Central America. Today, specifically, I will be speaking to you about doing business in Costa Rica and in Nicaragua from a realtor end perspective, how you can work with other realtors abroad. To work with an agent in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, or other Central American countries, but specifically today, Costa Rica, you will need to ask them if they're members of the two licensing entities that are in Costa Rica. To be a member of this entity, you basically have to take like a realtor course because licensing is optional in Costa Rica. You can belong to any of these two chambers, but you have to have your documentation in hand, meaning you have to have a cedula to legally work and live in this country and have basic realtor courses. That's going to separate you with working with other people who are just doing it as a hobby or just to make ends meet before they leave. Licensing is optional in Costa Rica. So working with an accredited, licensed, experienced realtor is the difference between representing professionally and not. How does that matter here? Well, because there is no licensing requirement, there isn't an MLS system. So if you have experience working in the market, this is like working in the US 50, 60 years ago. Working with other professionals sure will make the scary process a lot easier and manageable. There's a few things you need to know before you go down this road of representing a client abroad. You can either work for a commission or for a referral when working for a client abroad. There are two types of titles: the fee simple title and the corporation. That's how you can hold title to properties here in Costa Rica. To own land here, you do not have to be a national. You can be a tourist and have a passport. If you find a piece of property you like, all you need is a competent lawyer and decide if you're going to hold a fee simple title or if you want it under a corporation. If you're buying property at the beach, that's a whole different category, and we'll go into it later. But things to know about the beaches is basically no foreigner can hold a beachfront property, legally, that is. And that means 50 meters to 250 meters of inland to tide height. There's a law that protects Costa Ricans from foreigners owning from beach property. You can still own it under a different system, but that's a different story. And it's owned through the local municipality. It's more like a land lease. More on that at a later time. Because Costa Rica does not have licensing requirements, they don't have an MLS system. Most people use Proxio Pro to announce their listings, or they have Encuentra 24 Horas, or Global Listings, or different, mainly their own website that they're promoting. What this means to you is that you're not sure if what your client is interested in buying is priced accordingly. Because many prices are subject to emotion. Oh, it belonged to my grandmother. Oh, I actually saw that tree grow, so I think it's worth more. This is where us professionals in here and abroad need to work together for both our sellers and our buyers. The biggest difference of doing business as an agent in Costa Rica or Nicaragua, for example, versus Minneapolis is as an agent, you take on way more responsibility than you would otherwise. Meaning, at the time that you're listing a property, you have to make sure that you're representing the actual owner, that they give you the documents that match up to the Registro Nacional, which is the national registry. So that way you know that if an offer does come in, you're working for the actual owners and not somebody that claims the land is theirs but are not in any legal way being able to represent the owners. So save yourself time. Make sure that before you even list anything, you have a contract and that it belongs to them. The contract is important because many agents here, as I mentioned, do not have licenses. And so it's kind of like whoever can sell at whatever price. So that same property that you are trying to sell may already be on the market by the cousin, by the uncle, or even the brother. And each one will have it at a different price. And if I'm a buyer and I see the same property in 3 different places at 3 different prices, guess what? I'm going to wait till the lowest price available so I can put an offer on it. Another reason to get in writing the amount that the owner wants for the property in a contract, it's because contracts here are emotional. So your buyer may offer an amount, which is what the seller said they wanted. And when you go and propose it, they'll say, oh no, now we want $5,000 more. And that's where purchases here are emotional for both sides, the buyer and the seller. So always get your contracts in writing. How do you determine how much a property is worth? Well, the square meter is a way of doing it. You can go by the local banks and figuring out what the local square footage is at the bank, what they're lending. You can find out what the property is used for at the, what the property is deemed for. So if agriculture, it'll be a lot cheaper than if it was residential and so forth. Also limits as to how much you can sell or the minimum that you can sell. Like if you're in a rustic area, the minimum that you can sell is 7,000 meters or 7,000 meters, correct. So as you travel the path or the unpaved path of doing business abroad, things to consider. If you're financing the purchase, the bank will be telling you exactly what they need in order to make the loan possible. If you're paying for cash, well, the obvious, you have to do your own title search, make sure that the property belongs, make sure that the taxes are all paid, make sure that there are no liens against the properties, and make sure that they have a municipality, what do they call it? It's like a deed from the municipality saying that the property is owned by so-and-so and that no taxes are owed at the moment. That's before you even part with your money, of course. It's a jungle out here, but if you look for a licensed realtor, you can navigate this. Come on over, give me a call if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to help you.